Hello all my happy viewers. You know guys, there's this character in fiction, bit of an underrated one at that, but one that I still love regardless. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's called... Jokes aside, we all know that Godzilla is considered to be one of the biggest pop culture icons of all time, and arguably the most iconic fictional character from Japan. And without a doubt, he's my favorite fictional character of all time, and his films remain to be my favorite franchise ever. But what about kaiju films without Godzilla? We have many examples from many countries. The British have their own kaiju, Gorgo. The Danish created Reptilicus. Even India had their own monster, Gogala, though that's considered to be lost media now. And of course the many American monster films, from classics like King Kong and the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms to modern examples like Pacific Rim and Cloverfield. But we'll leave those films for another time. Right now, I wanted to talk about my top 5 favorite Japanese kaiju films without Godzilla. Number 5. Rodan. The very first Toho kaiju film released in color, Rodan look what happened. The first Toho kaiju film released in color, Rodan was released in 1956. It's yet another example of kaiju being tragic creatures. The two Rodans converge together in a destructive scene that I'd say rivals that of the original Godzilla's rampage through Tokyo, ending in a tragedy for the prehistoric partners. It's a kaiju film I'd argue has a romance plot between kaiju, of sorts anyways. Now I'm not much of a fan of the American release as it has so much unnecessary narration, though the US cut does show the female Rodan before the final battle in Tokyo, whereas in the Japanese version she just kind of appears. Big time classic, can't recommend it enough. Number 4. Frankenstein Conquers the World. Otherwise known as Frankenstein vs. Baragon, it's one of the few times a giant monster is portrayed by just having a relatively normal guy on a miniature set. Another example being the Metamorphosis episode from Ultra Q. Here, the heart of Frankenstein, the monster actually being named Frankenstein this time around, was exposed to the bombing of Hiroshima. In turn, it grew a new body and kept growing in size. Naturally being a gentle giant and only fighting the monster Baragon, Frankenstein is the hero of this movie. Now, I love everything about this movie. From the idea of seeing a giant humanoid on a miniature set, and even Frankenstein's survival outside of the lab, which does have a few funny moments. How are you going to try to throw a whole tree at a bird just to kill it? The final battle is epic as well, with Frankenstein going full-on caveman against Baragon. An alternate ending was filmed as well, but never shown in any full release, where Frankenstein ends up fighting a giant octopus in the middle of the mountains.
Huh?
What was Henry G. Saperstein thinking? Number 3. Shin Ultra Man. This film was something that I was really looking forward to from the very first moment that they announced it. Very creepily, might I add. After the success with Shin Godzilla, the same people who made that film were brought on by Tsuburaya to essentially reboot the original Ultraman. This film kind of plays out like a bit of a abridged version of the original Ultraman show, replaying key events that end up tying together at the end. I personally love how Ultraman, the kaiju, and the aliens were based off of original concepts for the original show. The finale is also quite amazing, with the solution being a combined effort between humanity and Ultraman. This movie does kind of make me wonder what other kaiju and aliens would look like in the Shin style. What would a Shin Gamora, Red King, and Baltan look like? Number 2. Gameamra, Guardian of the Universe. A true classic of the Heisei era of kaiju films, Gameamra embodies kaiju destruction, mythical stories, and compassion for one another all in one movie. Gameamra's design in this movie is also my favorite look for the big turtle. The Gyaos in this story are also terrifying. Starting off just a bit bigger than a human, the Gyaos begin to grow out of control, requiring Gameamra to intervene, culminating in a final battle that I'd argue rivals, if not surpasses, majority of the Heisei era Godzilla fights. Guardian of the Universe was so successful that it ended up spawning a trilogy of films. While the king rested, the Guardian went to work. Now before I get to number 1, I want to talk about a couple honorable mentions. Rebirth of Mothra, specifically the first one. This movie, while not immensely looked back fondly on by many, introduced my favorite incarnation of Mothra, the son of the original in this universe, Leo. Gappa. I love this movie and had the pleasure of seeing it again for the first time in over a decade recently. But looking back on it, there are some things in the movie that would not fly today. And those parts kind of make me feel uncomfortable. And my number 1 favorite Japanese kaiju film without Godzilla is... War of the Gargantuas. This movie possibly has one of my favorite stories ever put to kaiju media. A perfect depiction of nature versus nurture, the two Gargantuas, Sanda and Gaira, are supposedly spawned from the remains of Frankenstein from the end of Frankenstein Conquers the World, though this may be seemingly retconned. I'd argue the Gargantuas are some of TOHO's most underrated kaiju, along with a couple others. While most kaiju will battle each other without a second thought, Sanda actually saves Gaira from the JSDF and tends to his wounds. But due to Gaira preferring to eat humans and Sanda being raised by them, the brothers end up fighting. But even then, Sanda still tries to reason with his brother. I love everything about this movie, from the chilling opening, to the portrayal of the Gargantuas, to the battle of the brothers. If you've never seen this movie before, I cannot recommend it enough. Check this one out if you can. But what's your favorite Japanese kaiju film that does not have Godzilla? Comment below. Well guys, that's gonna go ahead and do it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, share, subscribe. Don't forget to follow all of our other pages. And as always, stay fantastic, happy viewers.